Hello and welcome to the STEP conference, our pop-up studio of Poddster. We go around the world, we have these podcast studios and we meet amazing people. We talk about the change in the Change Officer podcast, and today we will talk about the future change officers, the kids who are inheriting this world after us. And this is why we are talking with Helen Al Uzaizi, talking about kids, talking about the future in business, entrepreneurship, and education. Hello, Helen, and welcome to the Change Officer podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a real pleasure. I'm excited about this conversation.
We just talked a little bit before we turned on the cameras, and really exciting things that you do. And it turns out that you definitely have a niche to address to, the audience to address to, and the objective problems to solve. So you are Future Entrepreneurs founder, which is the Biz World license holder for the Middle East.
Yes.
Talking about education of the kids in entrepreneurship and business world.
Yeah, so we call it future-focused learning, if you will, or core skills. These are terms that people are using a lot more now. And the idea is that education hasn't changed much.
Of course.
So unless you're in the very top premium schools teaching things like IB and global citizenship, most people are actually getting an education that doesn't match what the world needs today.
20th century.
And absolutely. And it's not even what the world needs in the next 10, 15 years. It's completely outdated. And so the concept behind setting up future entrepreneurs and then bringing in the Biz World curriculum into the Middle East and North Africa was that we wanted to teach kids how to have the entrepreneurial mindset, how to build an entrepreneurial mindset. And does that mean that everyone needs to be an entrepreneur? Absolutely not. What it does mean is that whatever career path you choose, having that mindset will prepare you better for it. There's a lot of statistics out there. Like if you walk into a grade 1 classroom, 65 to 70% of children will be in jobs that don't exist today.
Oh yeah.
So what are we teaching them? And we can't continue down the same path. And this is where the idea of a project-based approach where they're learning a lot of skills comes into play.
Who can be the member of your organization? Who can attend the courses? Who can learn from you?
We work with schools. We work with youth organizations. We work with universities as well. So there are different ways that people can connect, but primarily we work through schools. So one of my biggest clients is the GEMS Education Group, and we have GEMS World Academy is the Center of Excellence for Entrepreneurship. So their students all have access to the programs, but then the wider GEMS community would also have access to it. And on the other side, we run our own programs, of course.
Okay, and so when you mentioned GEMS World Academy, kids go there after school and learn from presenters or teachers about business, about finances, about what is the education they get?
It usually works over 12 to 15 training hours, I would say. And they learn everything from how to do a business model canvas to how to keep a financial ledger to also working in a team. So a lot of times we ask them to bring their team members with them. So someone takes on the role of Chief Innovation Officer, CEO, Chief Financial Officer. So they learn the differences between accountability and responsibility. They learn about where bottlenecks happen and why things don't move forward. But also they learn a lot about ideation, how to come up with a business idea, a go-to-market strategy, how to figure out what their total addressable market is. Things that we would learn as adults. We assume that kids can't do it, but actually they're better than us in doing these kind of things.
I'm 100% agree. And you are in between Silicon Valley and Middle East. And what do you see the difference between the kids in Silicon Valley or kids around the US and here in Middle East? What is the major difference?
I don't think there's much of a difference. I think when it comes, the older they get, you start to see the differences. But very young kids, I've worked in refugee camps. I've worked in top-notch world-class schools. I've worked in multiple countries. Kids all have a thirst for knowledge. They all have a thirst for doing something different, for ownership, and their brains are like sponges. The one thing I will say is that in the Middle East, the privileged kids a lot of times have more of a hunger because of their exposure. In the US, a lot of times it's the less privileged. So the people from middle income or marginalized communities might be more likely to want to become entrepreneurs. So here in this part of the world, that a lot of people want to be government employees. They don't have that there as much. They have that. They have, I want to have my own business. I want to do my own thing. A lot more than here when it comes to the different socioeconomic kind of brackets.
We had a guest here in actually at the STEP conference. He did a high school here, then he went to University for Business and Accounting in US and returned a new person. Like the entrepreneurship mindset in US is amazing, and is this as you said, kids are the same.
Yeah.
It's about what you offer them.
Absolutely. And this is where, I mean, I think as a culture, we don't expect kids to earn money. We don't expect kids to save money as much, or at least historically, that wasn't part of our culture. There was the odd family that would do that. In the US, when kids are 8 or 9 years old, they're doing a lemonade stand.
Yes.
And that's the culture that starts building this entrepreneurial mindset, that you can dream big, that you can do things, that you can make money, that it's okay to ask for people to pay for a service or for a product. We have a very...
To get an investment.
Yes.
People are going around in high schools in US and like 2, 3 slides, 5 slides and asking for millions of dollars and getting millions of dollars because they are asking.
So we have a program as part of BizWorld that we've just launched called so it's Young Entrepreneur Success Program. And what that actually is, it's like a 12-week high intensity for an older age group, 16 to 21, high intensity program. And they have mentors from the corporate sector, etc. But the end result is actually investment. So they have a Shark Tank type of event, but they actually get funding up to $30,000. So it's not like it's just talking about $100, $500. No, it's talking real money that can really help them start.
And as you said, when they make a lemonade stand or when they are asking for an investment, they think it's as a normal part of the process of business.
Yeah.
Here and maybe other parts of the world also, it's like, oh, I'm asking but they don't see that they're basically solving a problem with the people for the people with the wealth that they can invest.
The rules have changed recently, so we have to also take that into account. Up until last year, kids couldn't work, so it was illegal to work. Up until last year, you couldn't set up a business unless you were of a certain age. In the last year, they've changed a lot of these rules here in the UAE. So now people can work as of the age of 15. There are limitations, there are restrictions, but they can start working and earning. And they can also register a business as young as 18 now, which wasn't the case before.
Okay, so we have 3 or 4 more years in my house, so our kids start having their own companies. But now they're like they would like to be casting jobs for ads, for movies, for modeling and so on, to earn some pocket money of their own and to feel independent. And I think this is the right feeling that they want to have. So. Given that my kid's going to just across the street of the Gems World Academy in Gems Founder School, I think that definitely I would like them to apply to this. And as you said, understand what keeps the world spinning. The
it's
business
not about I mean, when I first started, the concept of entrepreneurship and financial literacy for kids was a very foreign concept. So no one here was doing it. This is back in 2016, before people really realized the value of these kind of skills. Over the last few years with COVID, number one, but more so the rise of AI and automation is showing people more and more that the education system is not prepared for all of this. These tools are all phenomenal, and they're not going to go away, and nothing's going to change. Learning how to make the most out of them, learning how to use them to your advantage, that is what's going to make a difference. And I mean, I have one of my entrepreneurial students came to me the other day. They have a very classic business that they've been running for the past 6 months. And now they've decided to update their business using AI. So because they have that entrepreneurial mindset, AI is not something that they're worried about. It's just an extra thing that they can do that's going to make it even more interesting. And that's the entrepreneurial mindset that we talk about.
Amazing. Amazing. So what do you do at the STEP conference?
I'm speaking on the Earth stage later today. We'll be talking about EdTech. And I have a mixed opinion on that. But we'll be talking in a panel about technology and education.
Definitely. Thank you very much, Helen, for being in our podcast. And I really wish this to happen. And I think that it is happening, whether we want it or not. But let's make it in a structured way, with education and having the nice future for our kids and for their kids, of course.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you very much. It was really a pleasure talking to you.
Pleasure was mine.
We're continuing our series at the STEP conference in our pop-up studio. We go around the world, we go around the conferences and talk with interesting people, as you just saw, talking about and tackling the topics that will change the world. And the change is the only constant, as you know.